from a fallout shelter somewhere under Seattle, Washington. It's the show you've been waiting for. Get ready to join your hosts, John and Kenric, as they talk comics, movies, and more. Now here's Spoiler Country!
Alright, welcome back to Spoiler Country. I'm Kenric, and that is Mr. Horsley. And today on the show, it's all about Marvel and DC crossovers, not just Marvel and DC, but just crossover in general. And we're talking publisher to publisher, not book to book within their own little universe.
Right. We're talking about, this whole thing came up with, whole started because in the Marvel Comics 1000, which is a whole different topic.
Someone's really, really irritated by that book.
Just because they called it 1000, but, and it's not an earned 1000, which is annoying. But you would show me a panel of Batman. They had Batman having a cameo appearance in that, and we started talking about whether that's is that a good thing? Is that a bad thing?
Is it legal?
Is it legal? What's the legalities of that?
Yeah, well, they don't say Batman. They don't say Bruce Wayne. They don't give any hints. You don't see the full character. You see a behind the head shot, and it's obviously Batman, but you could deny that it's Batman. Right.
I mean, you could deny it, but I mean, it's pretty fucking obvious it's Batman. But I mean, there's been other instances before of that where it's extremely obvious who it is.
Right.
But it's kind of weird. We talk about some examples that I found of this happening. Not just modern day, but in Silver Age and Bronze Age time frame.
Marvel and DC have worked together and done promotional stuff like this.
Well, yeah, I mean, a lot of companies Marvel and DC worked together, like Marvel and like other companies, DC and like Dynamite, DC and Boom. I know DC does it a lot more than Marvel these days.
DC and Dark Horse.
Yep.
They did the Wonder Woman Conan series by what's her name? Gail Simone.
Yeah. Well, I can't honestly think of Marvel doing a crossover with another company recently, but I know DC's done a ton. DC does it. They've done Boom with Green Lantern and Battle of the Planets. No, Green Lantern and Planet of the Apes. And they did
the famous one, Batman Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yep, they did that one. That was IDW.
Yep.
But they've worked with a ton of companies. I can't think of any Marvel ones recently, to be honest.
Well, Marvel's making that Marvel MCU sweet cash, so they're not too concerned with doing crossovers right now.
Yeah, I mean, I can't even think what the last Marvel crossover was.
Yeah, apparently in Marvel 1000.
Right.
I don't know of any other time, but when was the first time that DC and Marvel did a crossover with each other purposely?
The first purposeful crossover?
Yeah.
There's got to be have been with Superman and Amazing Spider-Man in 1976, I believe, the Battle of the Century one. But I can't. Was that before Superman and the Hulk? I think it was. Yeah, it was. Sorry, Batman and the Hulk. Yeah, it was 76. Was the first time that Marvel and DC worked together.
So they had the DC versus Marvel back in 1996.
DC Marvel. Yeah. I mean, if you want to be tactical about the first two publishers crossing over into a comic book, it would have been 1940 with All-Star Comics #3.
What was that crossover?
It was the Justice Society because
who'd they cross over with?
So National Comics and All American Publications. So National Comics owned Dr. Fate and Hourman, the Spectra and Sandman, and All American Publications owned the Atom, Flash, and Green Lantern and Hawkman. So it was two different editorial imprints that crossed over to make the Justice Society with all their characters.
But they ended up being the same company.
Yeah, they ended up being owned. All American Publications ended up being owned by National Comics, which ended up becoming DC Comics. But at the time, they were two separate imprints, two separate outings.
Yeah, and then they had in the 70s they had the Superman. What was that? What'd you call it? The
Battle of the Century, Superman versus the Amazing Spider-Man.
Who won?
Neither one.
They goes into a draw.
Yeah,
did they not fight?
They decided not to fight for the better and fight the bad guy with Lex Luthor and Dr. Octopus.
They decided not to fight for the betterment of humanity.
right. And that was the first official crossover that they had done.
And then they did the Superman versus the Hulk.
Batman Hulk. Sorry, I was wrong.
Oh, Batman Hulk.
Yeah.
Oh, that would not go well for Batman.
I mean, Yeah, right. I mean, Batman stands no chance against the Hulk whatsoever.
No, it would not.
Not even close.
It would be like a flea.
Right? Right? It's like, come on.
I mean, well, if what if it's the second time they're up against each other and he's had time to think it through? How would Batman beat the Hulk? That's a good question. How would he do it?
Boop, boop, boop. Hey, Superman.
Boop, boop, boop.
Yeah, that's like, or hey, Wonder Woman, or hey, literally any other superhero besides myself.
Can Wonder Woman beat the Hulk?
I mean,
I think if she did it quickly.
All she has to do is subdue him.
Quickly, though, right?
Yeah.
Because the longer the battle goes, the worse shape she'll be in.
Yeah, yeah. Well, if you're doing that version of the Hulk, which is everyone's favorite, then yes,
That is the best one. What other one is there?
There's the MCU version, which isn't like that.
He could be like that. They haven't explored it.
True. I mean,
they haven't said anything. And plus, they've kind of ruined him because I don't like the whole... Because they're basically did Joe Fix-It.
Right.
And it just doesn't work, man. I was like, ugh.
It's
going to be... that one at all.
I liked it, but I kind of wish they would have put it back.
Yeah, I don't know, man. The whole setup of Avengers, not Endgame, but the Infinity War, with the Hulk not coming out and everything, and then you jump to that. It was just like, okay, that was weird. That was too much in between. Just I didn't like it. I was like, man, that's like my only complaint really about. Well, I have a few complaints about Endgame now that I've seen it a few times, but
right, I did too. Like, I mean, the Hulk really kind of pissed me off. Like, I think the Mr. Fixer or the Smart Hulk would have worked fine.
Yeah,
if in the final battle he would have hulked out fully. Like,
once he starts getting angry and start fighting, then the normal Hulk should be the predominant alpha personality.
Like, he should have come back as
when he's calm, it should be
battle.
Bruce, and then when he's pissed off, it should be the Hulk.
Right.
That would make sense. That's like not so bad.
Yeah, I agree.
That was a weird tangent, but yeah.
I mean, I was trying to find a way back into the topic, but there's just a hard left turn into it,
Yeah, just get right back into it.
So
then,
before you go on, pre 76, right? There were some crossovers that were not official, right? Like Inferior 5 number 10 from DC Comics has the Inferior 5, which is the DC funny series,
right?
Superman's in it because DC owns Superman, but on the cover is Spider-Man, Mr. Fantastic, and the Submariner.
An Inferior number 5.
Inferior 5 number 10.
Inferior 5 number 10.
Now they're called Cookie Quartet, Cobweb Kid, and Submoron, but and I'm pretty sure, and there's also a guy who looks very much like the Thing on the cover, but they don't, and the Human Torch as well, and they all have different names. But like the guy, and you could argue that like Mr. Fantastic looks a little different. But I mean, the person they have
made some changes, but they made it obvious who they were.
But Cobweb Kid looks like Spider-Man. The costume is a Spider-Man costume, down to the symbol, down to the emblem, everything.
Nice.
Yeah, it's just nuts. And then there's also
that's hilarious. I mean, it's the same thing as what Marvel 1000 is doing with Batman. Just not making fun of him, but having him in the book like that.
Right. And then in Brave and the Bold 64, which is Batman versus Eclipso, there's a scene, and it probably wouldn't fly too well with modern comics, but it's Peter Parker taking pictures, and it's Batman spanking Mary Jane.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Like over his knee, spanking her in the ass, and Peter Parker taking pictures of it. And Peter Parker goes, "Oh boy, what a picture."
How is that? That's in the book?
It's in the fucking comic, yeah. It's from
How do they even work that in?
I don't know. I haven't read the whole... I don't know. It's just crazy.
Which one is that? Brave and the Bold?
Brave and the Bold 64. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And then there's, from the Marvel side, just talking about going like Inferior 5 or just lean into it and do the whole costume.
Yeah.
On the cover of Machine Man 19, in the background, like all the characters like opposite, like so like the Hulk is scrawny, Thor's fat, Invisible Woman's like big and fat,
Right.
In the background is Superman and Batman, and Superman's fat and Batman's just in black. You can't really tell what he is, but it's clearly they have the Superman symbol on Superman, and Batman has like the ears and everything. It's all Batman.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
And which one's that?
Machine Man number 19.
Machine Man number... Is that a Marvel title?
That's a Marvel title. Yeah. Yeah.
Right,
It's from 19. 1978, I think, 1979, somewhere in there, or early, maybe it's the 80s, 84. I can't remember. There was two Machine Man series, I believe. Machine Man's a Jack Kirby character.
Yeah,
from the 70s.
I don't remember that one at all.
Yeah, and there's another Marvel one, Justice number 32, which was, I don't know. Do you remember the Marvel New Universe from the 80s?
Yeah.
Okay, well, Justice in the final episode,
Brandstar and all those guys. Yep.
In the final issue,
Nighthawk or something.
Joker appears in it.
Oh, really?
Like just straight up. I mean, he doesn't say anything. He's in the panel, and it's clearly just a Joker's his whole face, and he's laughing. And because a character just died or got knocked out or something, and Joker's just there laughing.
Yeah, the New Universe. That was an interesting run.
Yeah, it was. I mean, I didn't know about it honestly until I started getting back into comics in the 2000s, and I read some of it. I was like, oh, this is interesting. But then I was like, oh, this is all over with from 20 years ago.
Yeah, it was late 80s, early 90s. I remember when they came out.
Yeah, I'm sure you do because you're old.
Yeah, well, you're right behind me, buddy. You're not that far
I know.
away.
You're not supposed to bring that part up. Come on.
Any other promos? I mean, but which ones are like Marvel? And because remember in the early 2000s, Stan Lee had all those titles like What If Stan Lee had created these classic DC characters.
Yeah, the Just Imagine series.
Yeah, and I think that's a crossover, right?
I mean, you can call it. I mean,
even though by that time Stan Lee wasn't actually working for Marvel anymore, but it's still, you can't associate Stan Lee with anybody but Marvel.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
But they had one in the 80s too, right? Where it was co-published by both of them. In the 90s, they had the I'm looking at it right here, and they had the DC versus Marvel, which is awesome because they had Doctor Strange Fate #1.
I love that. I love the Amalgam series, man. I wish they'd keep doing those.
Yeah. And then they have, the 12-issue Amalgam Universe. And they did Storm versus Wonder Woman and Wolverine versus Lobo and Batman versus Captain America, which is, I think, that's a great one there.
I'm still pissed about Storm beating Wonder Woman.
Storm beat Wonder... I haven't read any of these.
Well, it was Storm Wonder Woman was a fan vote, and at the time, the X-Men series and the cartoon was super hot.
Oh, yeah,
and
you can't.
The fans voted for Storm to beat Wonder Woman.
Spider-Man versus Marvel Superboy, Superman versus
Spider-Man
the Hulk.
Superman won that one.
Superman won which one?
So Spider-Man beat Superboy, and Superman beat the Hulk.
Is that where he picks up a mountain and throws it on him?
I don't remember how he does it. It's one of them. He's fought him a couple times in various crossovers.
Yeah, they have Thor versus Captain Marvel, which would be a good fight. Silver Surfer versus Green Lantern, which would be a good fight. Robin versus Jubilee. Robin should destroy her. Flash versus Quicksilver. That would be a good one.
Robin won.
Flash won?
Robin won that fight versus Jubilee.
Oh, he should.
And Flash destroyed Quicksilver.
Yeah, well, Jubilee is the most worthless X-Men character ever created. I don't even... She was like the Yoko Ono to X-Men to me.
Right, she's kind of dumb.
Yep, Elektra versus Catwoman. Elektra should win that one.
Elektra won by cuffing Catwoman's whip as she hung from a girder on a building under construction, but Catwoman survived by falling into the dumpster filled with sand.
Yeah, you must be on the Wikipedia page. And Aquaman versus Namor. Aquaman wins by summoning a will to leap out of the water and land on Namor. Since Namor is pinned and unable to move, he's declared the loser.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
That is awesome. Yeah, I mean that's a fun crossover event.
It is, and like I mean it's silly, it's whatever, but it's a lot of fun. I mean they tested the waters with it back in the 80s with X-Men and Teen Titans.
Yeah,
right. So they took. It was funny is because there's X-Men Teen Titans in the 80s. In the 90s there was Marvel versus DC, and then in the early 2000s there was JLA Avengers.
Right.
JLA Avengers is a series by Kurt Busiek and George Perez that they've been trying to get off the ground since the X-Men Teen Titans crossover. Like the Teen Titans X-Men crossover was supposed to be part of the JLA Avengers book.
Yeah. I didn't know that.
After it. And they worked on it for like 20 years. I mean, that thing about the X-Men Teen Titans one came out in 83 or something like that. And JLA Avengers came out in 03.
Interesting.
Yeah. And if you have JLA Avengers is a really great series because it has this amazing scene in it.
Yeah.
Where the worlds are colliding, like that's how, in all crossovers, worlds are colliding in some way, right? And the DC characters are touring the Marvel universe, seeing what it is, what's going on, and Batman makes this whole thing of, hey, don't interact. We're just here to observe and report. Don't interact. And then they're going through, and Batman sees the Punisher and decides to drop out of Cloak and beat the shit out of the Punisher for killing people.
Wait, who's going to beat the shit out of the Punisher?
Batman.
Oh, interesting.
He drops out because Punisher's shooting people, and he drops out and just beats him up. Like,
he beat up
I don't remember the details of it. And I could be wrong. I could misremember this. I haven't read this series.
Which one is this in?
In JLA Avengers.
JLA Avengers. What year did that come out?
03. That's what I've been talking about this whole time.
I know, but I'm
04.
I'm paying attention now.
Oh, thanks.
No, I just kind of lost it there for a second.
Let's see. Here's I think this is the panel right here. I'm looking for it.
It came out in 03?
Yeah, 03, 04.
Oh, that's hilarious. Because I'm looking things up, and it's like DC Comic Presents number 47, 82. That's Superman and the Masters of the Universe.
I thought they did like 2 series on that. And it was cool.
Well, they did that. There's a new one that came out last year.
He-Man
versus Superman. And it's part of the. I think it's part of the whole. What's the one that came off the video game? Superman's kind of evil.
Injustice.
Yeah, I think it's part of the Injustice, and they're like they need to find someone who can actually beat Superman, and so they tag He-Man.
Nice.
Yeah, and then they had this is the one I was thinking of, 1982, the Marvel and DC Presents featuring the Uncanny X-Men and the New Teen Titans, and that was the 2 best-selling titles of the time for each company, and they battled Darkseid, Deathstroke, the Terminator, and Deathstroke, the Terminator, and Dark Phoenix.
You really weren't listening to me talk a minute ago, were you?
Did you say that?
That's the whole conversation I had for like 5 minutes with you about this book was about that book and JLA Avengers being connected, and JLA Avengers taking place was supposed to be back when that came out. You did not hear me at all.
This is how prepared I am. I was not prepared for this conversation. So I was like, oh, I should probably look this up while you're talking about that, but I didn't hear you go into that. And that was the book that was in my head that I was trying to think of. You know what I mean?
Oh man,
and
that's
I didn't
hilarious.
hear you give the I didn't hear you give the title.
Oh man, that's funny.
Hilarious. Yeah.
So, anyways, that was a great book, man. It's the 2 hottest selling teams at the time in '82.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a ton of DC and Marvel crossovers.
Yeah. Well, none since none since Disney bought them. But it seems like since Disney bought them, Marvel's done no crossovers with anybody.
Yeah, that's kind of unfortunate.
What sucks is because the crossovers are cool. I mean, it's a cool little thing.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles meet Archie.
Right. I hit the back. There was Punisher meets Archie.
They did Punisher meets Archie.
But I don't know how long ago that was.
What do you think of the whole DC Warner Brothers when they're like Batman, Porky Pig, or Elmer Fudd stuff?
Oh, I love those. Also, Punisher meets Archie was back in '94, so that was a long time ago.
Yeah.
I loved them. I thought I only read a couple of them, and I want to get the rest of them. But the ones I read were really good.
Did you read Batman and Judge Dredd, Judgment on Gotham? Back in '91.
Yes, I've read that one.
And then they had 91 was a busy year. They had Batman versus Predator.
Yep,
that would be
a good one too.
I think Batman. That's a good Batman story. I think I haven't read that one, but I think I could see it being a good Batman story because I think he'd kick the shit out of Predators.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I mean, I think you would too, because Batman's the whole thing about being about Predators. You have to be prepared. You have to be prepared to fight your villain. And what is Batman if he's not prepared? Right.
Right. And they're not overpowered.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So when we get Marvel has done some recently, but we'll get to those.
Oh, they have.
Yeah. Well, recently, as in the last 15 years.
Dude, there is one that came out in 1993, and it's Godzilla versus Charles Barkley. It's a one-shot. 93, Dark Horse Comics released Godzilla vs. Barkley, a one-shot comic inspired by the commercial. Although most of the action takes place in California rather than Japan, the comic was written by Mike Barron with the art of Jeff Butler and Keith Aiken. Oh, my God. I got to get that.
That's awesome.
That is hilarious.
That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, I didn't even know about that.
No, I've never even heard of it. That is awesome. And then there's I was never a Magnus Robot Fighter fan.
Oh, really?
No, I just couldn't get into it. I mean, I could
can
get
buy-
the appeal of it, but I just couldn't get into it.
You can buy Godzilla versus Barkley on eBay for $10.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I'll just see if they have it on Comic, on
Comixology?
Yeah, Comixology.
Dude, the cover is so cool. It's like a painting. It's like a painting of Charles Barkley, like the size of Godzilla, and Godzilla like doing his his beam breath on him, and he's blocking it with a basketball.
There's a few Punisher Batmans too in '94. Batman Punisher, Lake of Fire.
Yep, that's a good. That's Joe Quesada and Jimmy Palmiotti.
Punisher Batman, Deadly Nights.
Yep. See, back in the day, what they would do is one public they would cross over, but they would do two versions. They would do a Marvel they would do like the DC version and the Dark Horse version, or the Marvel version, right? Each publisher would get Batman Punisher was DC, Punisher Batman was Marvel.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So there was no and then they did it with Archie too. Archie meets Punisher and Punisher meets Archie. One was Marvel, one was Archie.
Yeah, and then of course you had the Batman Spawn, which is actually a popular comic.
And Spawn Batman, because again,
same
Batman
thing.
Spawn was DC, Spawn Batman was Image.
Yep. But those were pretty popular. I remember you can still see those all the time in like $5 bins, $3 bins.
Dude, and next one here, Worlds Collide, which was the DC Milestone crossover. I actually remember buying all those issues that are listed below that here with the Man of Steel, Hardware, Superboy, Icon, Steel, Blood Syndicate, Worlds Collide, and Static. I remember buying all of those off the shelf at the local Red Apple, because at the grocery store still carried comics at the time.
Oh, up there in West Bremerton.
Yeah, on Kitsap Way. Yeah, I remember going there and I bought all those issues as they came out from that store.
That's hilarious.
And I love that series. That's how I discovered Static Shock.
You didn't watch the cartoon?
Dude, this is '94. The cartoon wasn't until like 2002.
Oh, I thought this. I only knew from the cartoon. I thought the cartoon was before the comic.
No, Static came out and he was a Milestone character back in the early '90s.
Oh, and then there's a ton of a character they do a ton with is Grendel.
Yeah,
there's a ton of crossovers with Grendel, and with the Shadow now. The Shadow.
The Shadows. I mean, Dynamite's brought the Shadow back, and Green Hornet. They do a ton of stuff with them.
Yeah. Well, who has it? Dynamite.
Yeah.
Aren't they? Isn't it like Dynamite and Boom and IDW? They're really all about licensing.
A lot of it is licensing. Like Dynamite has a lot of like
not a lot of original content. I guess you could. I mean, it's original content because they're having it written and everything, but they're not original characters from those publishers.
No, I mean Boom and IDW definitely has original stuff. Like 30 Days of Night came from IDW, and there's stuff from Boom that's fresh. And
don't they have a hack and slash?
Hack Slash?
Yeah,
Hack Slash. Yeah, and then and they have I believe Dynamite. I mean, Dynamite has to have some original stuff, but most of it is built on the backs of licensing deals.
Spider-Man and Batman: Disordered Minds. I don't remember that one.
Neither do I.
Published in '95. Wow. Well, it must be Marvel, right? Because Spider-Man and Batman, not Batman and Spider-Man.
It's the Joker and Carnage meet when behavioral psychiatrist Cassandra Blair attempts to use the two killers as tests for a chip that will lobotomize their homicidal instincts. That sounds actually kind of cool.
Yeah, that might be interesting. And I remember Superman versus Aliens. I had that.
Oh,
one.
it's J.M. DeMatteis who wrote it.
Oh.
And then penciled by Mark Bagley, inked by Scott Hanna and Mark Farmer. Yeah, it's probably pretty good. I mean, it's J.M. DeMatteis, so.
Is it good, though? Is it? It probably is good. J.M. DeMatteis is usually really good.
Right.
You're usually pretty safe getting anything that he's written.
Oh, no, I do know this comic. I just looked up the cover. I do know this book. I have read this book before. I remember it.
Oh, it's not cheap. It's like $25 for a near mint on eBay.
I used to have that one.
Was it a good story?
It was all right. I mean, it wasn't great, to be honest. It was fine.
They probably asked him, "Hey, can you do this?" Sure.
Right.
Just wrote something out. Ooh, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Savage Dragon one shot, 1995.
I remember that. TMNT was actually in the regular Savage Dragon series as well.
Oh, they were?
Yeah, they crossed over in issue number 2.
Don't they have isn't lately there's a whole run of pornographic covers for Savage Dragon?
No, he did. So no, there's one pornographic cover. It was like issue 226 or 2 something.
Yeah.
Eric Larson has artists that he likes do variant covers, and there's a hentai artist that he liked a lot, and he hired him to do a variant cover, and the variant cover was just very pornographic.
That's hilarious.
Savage Dragon in itself is an adult book.
Yeah. Is that Eric Larson?
Yeah,
Oh,
Eric Larson.
I don't think I ever realized. Well, I'm sure I did, but I didn't remember that he was the creator of Savage Dragon. I remember when that came out.
Yeah, still going too.
Yeah, that was a long time ago. That came out in the 80s, right?
No, it was an image launch title in the 90s.
Oh, it was an image launch title? Okay.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it appeared. I think it appeared in something else prior to that. Because it was a lot of the image characters appeared in something else.
I thought Savage Dragon was part of the whole what's the book that Judge Dredd was out of?
2000 AD.
Yeah, I thought he was part of that, but obviously I'm wrong.
So Savage Dragon first appeared as Paul Dragon in Graphic Fantasy number 1 in 1982, and then in Megaton number 2 in 85.
Yeah,
Megaton 3 in 86, and then first full appearance as his character was Savage Dragon number 1 in 92.
There you go.
So he appeared 3 times in other stuff from 82 10 years, and then finally took off and has been going ever since.
Yeah. Vampirella is another one that they do a lot of crossovers with. You can't even keep up with all of hers.
Now you do. And yeah, now there's tons. I mean, there's so many crossovers.
They've been doing crossovers with her for a long time.
Oh, I know. But they do. I mean, what's interesting is Vampirella, the story is like, if you read the old Warren magazine comics from the
I got 60s the first and 70s. 6.
Yeah, with the Frazetta cover.
Yeah, I got all of the Warrens. And I have the first 6, and then I have the last Warren.
Yes, we have 1 through 6 and 113. Nice.
Yeah.
So, the stories are great. Like the Vampirella stories are really cool.
Dude, the Frank Frazetta covers are phenomenal. I mean, the only thing that sucks is like when you go in through mine, they're reader copy, maybe a little bit better. I don't know, whatever. But when you go through, somebody cut out some of the coupons in there. And it's like, bastards. It's not so. But when you get those old Vampirellas, you're not getting them really for the stories inside. You're seriously getting for the Frank Frazetta covers.
Oh, for sure. I mean, it's the same reason why I have the old Conan the Barbarian paperback comics.
Yeah.
Or not paperback books, right? Because in the 60s, late 60s or 70s, they would re-release those books with Frazetta covers. So I have that series with the Frazetta covers.
Oh, nice. Yeah, Frank Frazetta was amazing.
Right. But what I was getting to is those stories, they're fun stories, but Vampirella falls under the line of she's a vampire chick wearing almost no clothes.
Oh yeah,
and it's
same costume since she came out. Was it the late 60s, early 70s or whatever?
Right, they haven't changed it.
Nope. Frank Frazetta, I think. I wonder if did he design it? Did he design her completely?
I don't know, honestly.
Or did somebody that the interior? Because you don't know, right? He could have just read the story and then they said, "Hey, can you build a cover? Can you paint us a cover?"
Well, according to this, Frank Frazetta was one of the creators of Vampirella.
Well, there you go.
Yeah. It was Forrest J. Ackerman, Frank Frazetta, Trina Roberts, Tom Sutton, and Archie Goodwin.
We should do a Frank Frazetta and Vampirella episode.
Dude, I would love to talk about Frank Frazetta more. I love his work.
Oh, my God, dude. You ever read the Death Dealer series?
Dude, yes.
Yeah. Good stuff.
Anyways, moving on. Back to crossovers.
Here's one on here. There's so many on here we can't get through them all. We just can't. But in 96, there is a crossover that I'm really, really thinking about trying to get, and it's Star Trek and X-Men.
Oh,
it's a one-shot comic book crossover written by Scott Lobdell and published in 1996. What?
It's funny because after there's a couple of Star Trek X-Men crossovers, but after the X-Men movie came out in 2002, whatever it was, 2000 or 2001, I don't know, whatever year it was, they put out a series of books of Star Trek Next Generation and X-Men where Picard and Professor Xavier just look the same because they modeled them after the movies.
Oh, that's hilarious.
And it was so great. And they're actually the books are a lot of fun to read, but it's just funny because it's it's Picard and Picard.
Yeah, X-Men movie came out in 2000.
Oh yeah, 2000. So it was like in 2001 these books came out.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, and I mean at that time frame, late 90s, they were doing a lot with the X-Men because
there's a lot
of crossovers. Yeah,
the X-Men were huge in the late 70s. The 80s they were the hottest thing. Neck and neck with Spider-Man, and then
right,
but that late 80s to early 90s, oh my God, you couldn't get away from them.
Oh, for sure. And they're everywhere.
Yeah, they're everywhere. And so and that was still carrying them through all the way through the 90s.
And now nobody cares.
Yeah, it's kind of sad. I watched
Yeah.
the the streaming edition for Dark Phoenix is available.
Yeah.
For like $15 or whatever.
Nice.
And I watched it. And
we should just hold your thoughts. I want to talk about it. I picked it up too. I'm waiting for payday. I'm going to get it, and then I'm going to.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
watch
yeah.
it.
You should check it out. I'm be interested.
Yeah.
I can see why people will be mad, but then it's like, well, Anyways, remember Pitt?
It's just comics. Pitt, yep. There were Pitt from Image.
Yeah. Whatever happened to that guy?
It didn't sell well. Apparently, I don't know.
Yeah, he was around for a while there. I remember when that comic came out. It was a lot of hype around it.
Yeah, it was so bloody is why. It was so bloody.
You think that was the reason that it didn't do well?
No, I think that's the reason why all the hype was there, because it was like all the covers were it was a mainstream comic from Image that had just the violent. I mean, I could be wrong. I just remember seeing the Pitt covers and them just being, wow, that's a lot of blood on the cover.
Yeah, they have Batman versus Aliens, and they had Superman versus Aliens. Did you get that one? I got that one.
Oh yeah, I have that.
You still have it?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there's so many crossovers. Do you want to see more crossovers?
Yes.
Do you want to see them in continuity or as one shots?
No, in continuity is too ridiculous. I don't care about that. I want to be able to pick it up and read it.
You want to be able to pick it up and read it, and just have fun with it.
Exactly.
What's the newest ones? Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Is that one? So what I was getting to is we talked about earlier about Marvel kind of pulling out of them.
Yeah.
And I was looking through here, and I found some. So there was, there's a Marvel one in 2005, which is Marvel Team Up 14, which is Spider-Man and Invincible from Image Comics, that's still 05. But then you go to 2006, you have Darkness and Wolverine. That's still pre Disney.
Does it count? So not to butt in, but does it count when you have so in 2017 you had the Wonder Woman, Conan the Barbarian? That one counts because that's DC and IDW. Yeah. But does DC Looney Tunes really count as a publisher crossover?
I mean, well, yes, because DC doesn't own Looney Tunes. Warner Brothers does, but Warner Brothers owns both of them.
Yeah.
So I can see. I mean,
there's an argument to be made if you really wanted to.
Yeah, you could argue it both ways for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
So 2016, there's one. Sorry, one last thing, and then I'll let you get into your thing. Is Big Trouble in Little China crossed over with Escape from New York?
Oh yeah, I remember that happening. That was freaking hilarious. Kurt Russell.
So Marvel 2005. Sorry.
So we're up to 07 now. Thanks for paying attention. 07, which is still pre-Disney. We have Marvel Zombies Army of Darkness. We have Spider-Man Red Sonja, which actually that one's probably pretty cool.
There is a post-Disney one though.
So 08, there's Magdalena Daredevil in 08, which Disney bought in 08, right?
Yeah, something like that, or 09, 08, 09, somewhere around there.
Yeah, there's nothing in 09 with Marvel.
Go to
2010 has nothing. 2011 has nothing. 2012, I don't think has anything.
Mm-mm. And it doesn't get till 2014. Then you get something.
2013 has nothing. 2014, what does 2014 have?
Attack on Avengers, Marvel's Avengers, and Attack on Titan.
Was that really?
Yeah, that's what it has.
I mean, I see it, but
we did so much research on this.
It's an 8-page story.
Yeah. Well, does it count? I mean, it's a crossover.
It counts, yeah. It counts.
It's kind of weird. It's on Sci-Fi. It's on Sci.com, Sci-Fi Wire. Read the entire 8-page crossover there. Or do you just have to say it has to be like a published thing that you can go pick up at your LCS?
I mean, it counts for sure, but I mean, it's a crossover. But it's I don't know. I guess that's fine. So they moved in 2014, and then 2015, nothing.
What's a crossover you want to see?
That I want to see?
Yeah. Ooh, I wouldn't mind reading He-Man versus He-Man and Thundercats.
Oh, that'd be cool. That'd be really cool. Actually,
I would like to see.
I mean, the one I always wanted was TMNT and Batman, but they've been doing that and they're great. Let's see. What would I hate being put on the spot because now I feel like a dumbass. I can't think of anything.
I mean, it could be something simple like Superman and Spider-Man again, or it could be, whatever you want.
I mean, actually, not just to copy that, but I would like to see Connor Kent, Superboy, and Peter Parker Spider-Man crossover.
Because I would love to see Lucifer and Mephisto, or no, not Mephisto. What's his name from? Is it Mephisto?
Yeah, Mephisto.
Yeah, the Marvel Satan. I think that would be kind of cool.
That'd be cool. That'd be really cool.
You know, or actually just put Mephisto, just put Sandman's universe. You just have Mephisto in Sandman's universe for like a 12 comic arc or a 6 comic arc or something.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
I'd like to see, Connor Kent, Superboy, and Spider-Man would be really cool now that I think about it, because I like both those characters a lot.
And I wouldn't mind seeing Constantine and Punisher team up.
Why Punisher?
I don't know, because Punisher is, you know, everything is black and white, and I feel like Constantine is very much like that as well, right?
You think Constantine's black and white?
I think he is. I think that's why he makes the decisions he makes. I think that's why he's easily able to save his own skin and put other people, you know, fuck up people over, because he's so black and white. Think about it. Think about the decisions that he goes through, and there's such a bastard that people think of him, right? People don't like John Constantine. And when you meet somebody in real life, most of the time, or if you ever meet somebody who's truly just black, it's black and white, they bug the shit out of you.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I think Punisher is very much like that. And I think John Constantine is very much like that. I think it'd be an interesting dichotomy to see those two either butt heads or have to team up.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it'd be interesting for sure. Punisher's not who I would think of for Constantine to cross over with, but it makes sense. Well, it'd be fun to watch.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. You don't want it to be, you don't always want it to make sense. Especially when it comes to comic books. I mean, because, you could put Constantine with Doctor Strange and you'd be like, oh, that makes sense. But then it's like, that makes too much sense. You know what I mean? With Punisher, at least you'll get a lot of drama. You'll get a lot of tension. You know what I mean? They're going to butt heads. You know? Constantine's going to be, you know, some demon's going to get summoned and Punisher's going to try to plug it with 100 bullets, you know?
It's not going to work.
It's not going to work. Or maybe it does because Punisher's just that good. You know?
It won't work. He's not that good.
Okay.
Who's that guy from Blade? Was it Hannibal King?
Or Hannibal King.
I mean, Hannibal King and Constantine would be cool too.
Yeah, that would be cool. That would be just a cool. That would be a fun crossover, actually. Yeah. Or Constantine with magic.
Yeah, actually, that'd be fucking awesome.
Yeah, because if she like brought him to limbo and back and forth, and she's the dark child. And they took that aspect from her and went that way, because then Constantine would be like tripping out.
Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
I'd like to see. Shit, I just had it in my head. Now I can't think. I lost it. Fuck. Damn it! I was thinking the whole time you were talking, but then I thought of Hannibal King. And God dang it! Oh yeah, no. Just for the sheer factor of the whole stealing of characters thing.
Yeah.
It would be hilarious for them to do a Deadpool Deathstroke comic.
They actually should do that one. That would be awesome. Yeah, they should do that one.
Yeah, because it'd be cool on so many levels, because those two characters interacting and the fact that the name thing with them and everything would be just fucking hilarious.
Is that Wade Wilson and Slade Wilson?
Yeah, Wade Wilson and Slade Wilson, and it's just. I mean, they're both mercenaries. They both both have pouches.
Yeah, they're both very similar looking.
Yeah, I mean. Yeah, Slade's older with one eye, but I mean, yeah, it'd be a lot of fun to watch that crossover or read that crossover.
Yeah, I think
hell, watch it. Ryan Reynolds and in a movie doing it. I don't care.
Yeah, you could have Ryan Reynolds. Who would be your Deathstroke?
Well, in the movie, it was Joe Magdalena, whatever his name is, in the DC EU. But I think that's over. I think the DC Extended Universe is over.
Oh yeah, they're gonna blow that shit up.
At least we all hope it is. But
well,
yeah, I mean, it'd be cool.
It's gonna be interesting on how well Suicide Squad 2 does.
Because it's basically a reboot.
It is basically a reboot. They're keeping Harley Quinn because you'd be dumb to let that girl go. Because she owned that role. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, Mark Robbie. Well, and she's playing Harley Quinn again in Birds of Prey.
Yeah. And so you can't let her go. But you can do a full reboot with her, with Suicide Squad 2, with Birds of Prey, because I mean, even Suicide Squad doesn't have to be within the original DECU.
No, and even then, they can just change. I mean, there's been lots of characters in the Suicide Squad over the years. So they can just change out the characters.
Oh yeah, there's always different characters because they kill them off so much.
Yeah, they blow them up.
Yeah,
they blow their heads off.
Yeah. So, but I don't know why people didn't like Will Smith's Deathstroke.
I liked Will Smith as
Deadshot.
Deadshot.
I liked it.
I liked him. Yeah.
I thought he was great.
You know, I watched that movie again recently, within the last 6 months.
Yeah.
And I still stand by the fact that the movie's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
The plot is ridiculously stupid, but the movie's a lot of fun. And the characters
just not
I like
fleshed out.
It
just moves too quick.
Plot.
And it's like, what?
Yeah.
You don't know what's, and why is she, I like Cara Delevingne.
Cara Delevingne.
Yeah. I like her. I think she's
Me too.
cool. I think she's like,
she was great in Valerian.
yeah, I think she's real. You see her do interviews and stuff, and she's just up front. And I like that when you see people like that. I think, but whoever told her to do the funky dance thing,
oh god,
should be fired.
So cringy, right?
Because it's just like, what is going on? And the way they did her voice, why?
Right.
And this
what? And her brother made no sense. Like
Yeah. He was created just for the movie.
No, I mean he's in the comic books, but it just didn't make sense. How they used him, it's like, oh, you're just a generic bad guy.
Yeah. I mean, I liked the movie. I still stand behind it. I defended it when it came out. I didn't understand how everyone was like, oh, it was great. And then like 3 months later, everybody was saying how much they hated it. I was like, what?
It's the same thing in Star Wars Phantom Menace, man. Everybody loved it when it came out and then hated it a year later.
Yeah, it was just so weird. But I'm excited to see what James Gunn does.
Me too.
And I think he's going to bring in some of that Guardian of the Galaxy type, because it's very similar in the fact of the way it is.
A ragtag group of people doing a job they don't want to do.
Yeah. So that's kind of off topic. So
no, I have one more question for you before we go for this episode.
Yeah.
Do you want to see these kind of crossovers in the movies and TV shows as well?
I don't know. It'd be weird. I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. I think in the comic book, it's easy to do a one shot and call it good. You know, I don't. It's just, there's so many moving parts for a movie to do that, or even a TV show to do that, because there's so much money involved. I don't know that we'd ever actually see it. It would be kind of fun to see Superman and Spider-Man together, clowning around and doing things. Or, the X-Men or the event, or just any of the crossovers that we've talked about. It would be kind of cool to see. I think if they're going to do a movie crossover, though, I'd want it to be like Batman Predator or Batman Aliens or something, or Superman, you know what I mean? That kind of thing.
That'd be cool.
Or even, or Punisher Predator. That would be amazing, even though that would just be the first Predator.
Right. It'd be the same thing.
Yeah, it'd be basically the same thing. But you know what I mean? Well, you see what I'm saying, though.
He'd have a skull on his chest.
Yeah,
instead,
I think you'd have to do something like that. Because we did have the Batman TMNT movie, animated.
Yeah, the cartoon, yeah. It had to be, they do them animated and then see what happens from there. But I'd love to see it. It'll probably never happen, but it'd be cool.
Yeah, it's just, I think it's the money thing. I think if you're going to see it, though, it's going to be a smaller studio giving access to Warner Brothers or to Marvel to something like Alien or Predator or, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles or something like to that effect. It has to be something that is
something
cheap for them to get that allows them to make that.
Or something that Disney already owns.
Right. Yeah. Or something Disney already owns.
The Avengers crossover with
Warner
Avatar.
Brothers, like Superman and He-Man. Or He-Man Thundercats.
Cool.
I would love to see a He-Man Thundercats.
Dude.
At least an animated movie.
I'd love to see something done with Thundercats and done well.
Thundercats deserve a really good reboot. People freaked out on that. Did they ever release that kids one that they were doing?
I don't know.
Because people freaked out. And people are like, oh, well, they redid He-Man seriously and nobody watched it. Yeah, and 20 years ago now. Like, seriously.
Well, they redid Thundercats seriously too, and nobody watched it. Like they did Thundercats in a serious way.
Yeah, but
in 2007, whatever it was.
Yeah, well, where's the marketing? And you know what? Streaming services and YouTube and Netflix and all that wasn't like a thing then. It was, but it wasn't. You know what I mean?
Right.
So you could do a redo Thundercats seriously now on Netflix, and I guarantee you it'd be a huge hit. Just like they did with Voltron.
People. Yeah.
So I don't agree with that. I didn't like it. I was upset. There's a part of me that I shouldn't be because I'm not the target audience of what it was. But I just remember that was my, Thundercats came out in the 80s. I was in elementary school. And I watched it when it came out, and I watched those things. I watched it religiously. I would have to turn the volume down on the intro so my mom wouldn't hear Mumra do his little chant and do everything and thinking it was evil, and then turn it back up so I could watch it without being scolded for the evilness of the Thundercats. But I watched it religiously, dude. Every single, when new ones came out, I was watching it. It was on the WB on channel 22. And
nice.
And I remember when the movie came out, I think I was in 5th grade or 6th grade, and everybody watched it then. And I remember going to school and people were like, oh, Thundercats. But then when the movie came out, everybody was like, oh my God, did you watch the movie? And because it was it was awesome. So,
right.
I don't know, man.
I was looking up. Thundercats hasn't been released. That show hasn't been released yet, and it looks like it might have been canceled.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised because I'm sorry, I get it. It wasn't made for me. I get it. But there's a part of me that I can't help it. That's a huge part of my childhood, and to see it bastardized like that, and to see it put into a corporate fucking money grab to make it like kids for toddlers. It was just like, oh, it just made me want to puke. Not literally, but you know what I mean?
Right.
And it was just like, how
I can't.
Can you be okay with that? And I would get, I don't know. I mean, there was a lot of people, I think you were one of them that was like, well, you're not the target audience, and why, who cares? It's like, well, shit, man. I don't know why I care, but I did. And it bugged me. It bugged me a lot.
I care because I care.
Yeah,
man.
I care because I care, and it did bug me, and I was just like, oh, I got to get over this. So it's interesting that they didn't, because there was a huge backlash on it.
Yeah, everything. It's kind of a mixed bag. It's like half of it says canceled, half of it says coming, later in 2019. But I mean, it's been people have been bitching about it for a while. We'll see.
Yeah,
I mean, it's not for me. I'll probably watch.
You know what? Actually,
I won't watch much of it.
Yeah, but now that I've just got all that off my chest. Fuck, just release it. I don't care anymore.
Right. I said my bitch. Now
Because there's a part of me like my 5-year-old would love it, right?
Yeah, I know.
And then
I'm
when
sure
she's a little
Jack,
older, I can get her into Thundercats.
Right.
That makes me want to go get a
garbage you watched
Thundercat
before.
shirt.
Watch the real stuff. Right.
Whoa,
Thundercats,
hold on a second. I got a headphone down.
Headphones down. Headphone
down.
At least not a spider this time.
And we're back.
Man, I could have said anything and you wouldn't have known what I said.
Yep, you could have.
Damn, I lost my opportunity.
I think that's a show. It's a discombobulated, weird DC, Marvel, publisher to
Dynamite,
publisher,
Flash, whatever.
crossover promo.
Yeah.
But we hope you guys enjoyed that.
I mean, I enjoyed that journey because we started the journey with you saying you don't know anything about what we're talking about. Me going, I've done research when really I hadn't done any research.
No, you just pulled it up on Wikipedia. And I was like, I'm just going to pull it up on Wikipedia because obviously that's all he did.
Dude, don't give away our secrets or research, man. They're gonna know we're a scam.
We're such losers. Oh. All right, guys. I think that's it. That's a show.
That's a show.
And really,
man.
You could hear us. I don't know why we do this at the end.
Whatever. We do.
But we do. If you made it through all of that and you like what you heard, we're on all the podcasting services. So open up your app, whatever podcast service you use, be it Google or iTunes or any of
Podcast Addict or Podbean or Pod something.
All of the other ones that are out there, because God knows there's a lot. Just
Podchaser. I personally, I'm actually wearing a Podchaser shirt right now.
There you go. Just give a search for Spoiler Country. Subscribe. Maybe leave a comment. Let us know that I'm listening from here. Or, we're on all the social medias as well. We're on the Twitter and Instagram and Facebook. We're really active on Facebook and Twitter. Those are the two platforms we're the most active at. So give us a call out. Give us a holler. And if there's some a promo or not promo, maybe a promo or a crossover that you'd like to see, let us know what it is.
That's right. We'd love to hear from you. And if you do go out and subscribe to us, be like my nephew JT, who just subscribed to us and downloaded all of our episodes. Do that. That's a good idea.
Man. I got so excited. You're like, don't get too excited, man.
He was laughing. I told him what you said. He was laughing. Anyways, go subscribe to us. We have a voicemail you can call and tell us about your favorite crossover or one you want to see at 707-656-2080. You can also text that number, 707-656-2080. You can give us an email at spoilercountry@gmail.com. Let us know anything you want there. If you're a comic book creator, you can send us your book and we'll get it reviewed on the site. If you want to tell us something, you can tell us at the email. You can check out our website, scpod.net, which has articles and reviews and all of our podcasts and so much more. Just go there and check it out in scpod.net. Go there, read the articles, comment on them.
Content
love
on there.
them. So much good stuff. Yeah. And that's all I got for you tonight.
Well, there you guys go. Don't forget, open the mind.
And read more.
Hey, you know what? Before we actually go, that little phrase is a true statement.
It is.
You need to open your mind. You need to read more. It's one of the best ways to come up with original thoughts and original ideas and to think for yourself. Because
and not just comics, everything. Read everything.
Yeah, anything. Just try reading, going through and having an understanding of things and what's going on around you, and get lost in some fiction. Don't be one of those people that I only read nonfiction because wow, really boring.
Yeah,
and
read everything.
Yeah, try to read a little bit of everything. There you guys go.
Thank you.
Later.
Appreciate that. Bye.